Hello, and in this video I do not want to take a lot of time about going over what most people would think would be the service agreement. That'll go in a little bit later. You should have already had some talks with the sales representative, and hopefully you've already seen the service agreement. If not, you'll be able to look at that and you can go through it at that point. Again, if there's anything that you have a question or a concern or wasn't discussed, we're not trying to hide anything from you. It was probably just overlooked, and that's why we have this onboarding process. So make sure you let us know if that does happen. We're more than happy to work with you. If there is something that is a deal breaker, we're more than happy to send you a refund before we get started. That's why we have this. The biggest thing we've learned when it comes to client success is a misalignment, and that's where I want to talk a little bit about Qualtrics. I had a great opportunity and was able to work for Qualtrics. If you're not familiar with them, they do what's called experience management. It's a niche that they actually created, and they're making millions of dollars helping some of the biggest companies in the Fortune 500, as well as even small businesses. Now, we could talk about Qualtrics all day, but let's talk about the reason I want to bring that up is because they have a common term called experience gaps, and I'll send a link in the description so you can read this article. It's really interesting, but experience gaps occur when a brand fails to meet expectations at any point along the customer journey. This happens with your customers as well as it can happen with ours, which you are one of our customers, and we don't want that to happen. Now, that said, we aren't naive and we know that everything's going to be perfect. There are probably going to be some things that we disagree with, and we just know that sometimes that is healthy. Please be transparent. That's one of the first things I want to talk about is transparency. If you have an issue with us, please tell us. We're not going to get offended. And these conversations are crucial to making sure that both parties are happy, because that is what we want to make sure. Now, as I mentioned, we do have a service agreement. Generally, you'll be in 3 to 6 months term, depending on what the term length was discussed. I want to let you know that that term and service agreement is to protect both of us if one of us disagrees with the other. However, if there's at any point in the working relationship where both of us just agree and say, hey, this isn't going to work, let's cut the contract short, we're more than willing to do a refund for that month you're on. Now, some things that I want to talk to about expectations is let's talk a little bit about results. Throughout this onboarding process, you're going to be able to we're going to have a kickoff call where we're going to talk about specific goals and metrics. I just want to remind you that conversion rate optimization, marketing in general, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and sometimes these projects can take time to get results. That's why we have such 3 to 6 month length. It's not going to be something that you can get results in a day. Please be patient with us on those results. Another key part of knowing those results is there may be information we need from you in order to complete our projects. We cannot fulfill and get those results if you are not able to get us that information when we request it. So that's the next thing I want to talk to you about is communication with us. Generally, you'll use the Trello board for projects so everyone can see it and everyone knows what's going on. It has a great history and it's all recorded. You're more than welcome to use the support email, or there's a link in the Trello board to schedule a call and we'll document those calls so there's an ongoing history, just to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. We're really big into documentation. When it comes to communication, though, please note that we generally want to have at least 2 business days preferred. So please know that if you don't get a response in the next 5 to 10 minutes, that's if you put a message on Trello or send an email, please don't expect a response in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Please allow us up to 2 business days. We generally try to get everything done in 1 business day, but just like you, we know things happen. And because that's our commitment to you, we generally expect the following. Now, if you're in situations, if you're going on a vacation, please let us know, because there are some projects where we will need something that's a little bit more time sensitive. Generally, if there's something that needs to be time sensitive and it's less than a business day, please call us or use the chat feature on our website. Generally, calling us is the best way to go, or sending a quick text. That way we can make sure if there is something urgent like a website breaking down, we can get it in a timely manner. That said, please note, if you're just asking a question, send it in an email. A simple question generally is not life or death or urgent. We use sprint planning, which we'll go over in our processes. But in order to make sure that we get everything done on our sprint, we need to make sure that we can focus on the project. So if you do have questions that don't need to be answered right away, please make sure that you're putting it in the Trello board or you're putting it in an email instead of calling us. If you keep calling us with questions that are urgent when they really aren't, we'll just be frank and let you know, hey, this probably could have been put in an email. So just know we are going to be very transparent, and we expect you to be transparent with us as well, because that's the best way to grow. Thank you for listening on this video. Now, on this kickoff, I've talked about a few points that we find are very key in expectations. We don't want to have some type of experience gap. So if you had a bad experience with an agency before, please share that experience with us in the kickoff call so we can avoid that, as well as things that you think would be particular. If you have a different view on any of these key things that we talked about, we are willing to make some special accommodations, but please make sure that's discussed in the kickoff call. Thank you.